Ms. Wasserman Schultz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Secretary, welcome. It's good to see you. I want to ask you 3 questions quickly so I can give you the bulk of the time, my 5 minutes to respond. I'm going to follow up on Mr. Diaz-Vilart's question of you on Venezuela, but I do want to acknowledge and ask you about any activities surrounding the disappearance now, again, of Robert Levinson, who last week, sadly, his family acknowledged the 7th year of anguish with his imprisonment. He's still missing, and I just urge you to do all you can to find him and ensure his safe return to the United States, because it's gone on for far too long. On Venezuela specifically, my hometown is Weston, which we affectionately like to refer to as Westonzuela, and it's home to the 2nd largest Venezuelan population behind Doral in the United States. Can you discuss specifically, and recognizing that Maduro's regime is trying to use the United States as a distraction and an excuse for his own failings, his own oppression, and his own violation of democratic principles, and also recognizing that the harm that could come to people who can least afford it from sanctions is part of the angst that is derived from the opposition, actually. There are some members of the opposition in Venezuela who are very concerned about the possibility of sanctions because of the disproportionate impact that it would have on people who are already poverty-stricken and deprived by this regime. But this is obviously a very tragic and difficult situation. Maduro is oppressing his people. There's a tremendous amount of violence, and we expect it to get worse. So what actions specifically are we engaging in beyond discussions with the OAS and urging them to engage so that we can make sure that we can continue to be the moral leader, not just in our hemisphere, but in the world? And then lastly, I'm deeply concerned about the complete zero out of funds for the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program. I know that there's a request tied to the Opportunity, Growth, and Security Initiative, but we don't have any guarantee that Congress will agree to appropriate those funds. And given that that proposal goes over the cap and has offsets that will likely be controversial, how is that going to impact our 1,000 Days initiative that's been in place since 2010? Global food insecurity obviously is one of the most tremendous challenges that we face worldwide.
Congresswoman, let me, I want to get back to you on the global agricultural, global food piece and give you a more detailed answer as to how we can address that. The food security issue, you're absolutely correct, is an enormously challenging one. The bottom line is, some of these budget choices are very, very tough, and that's a reality and trade-offs. We believe that we can make up for it in other ways, but let me get back to you in the details of it. On the sanctions issue and the challenge of Venezuela, let me just say this. We have been in touch with surrounding neighboring countries. We're talking with them about trying to get some kind of initiative with them. They're not listening to us particularly, obviously. And we're hopeful that peer pressure, the hemisphere, and the near neighbors are going to be the people who will be able to have the greatest impact on them. But we are prepared, if we need to invoke the Inter-American Democratic Charter in the OAS and engage, in serious ways with, as you said, sanctions otherwise. Their economy is fragile enough right now that, one might have pause about doing that for the reasons you've described. My hope is, I think the best hope right now is that the efforts of the neighboring countries who are deeply concerned about what is happening and its impact on the region may be able to encourage the kind of dialogue that could actually pave a way forward. We've become an excuse. We're a card they play, as you say. And I regret that, because we very much opened up and reached out in an effort to say, doesn't have to be this way, and to offer an alternative path. We share the same concerns. We want fair distribution of the resources. We want opportunity, economic opportunity. We want to provide the health care and education and the other things that their young people are screaming for. And we believe we could help. But up until now, in the tradition of Chavez, who played that card so, forcefully for years, and Maduro, who is not Chavez and has his own internal challenges, has tried to replicate it, and to no avail, frankly. But it hasn't made it easy for us to be able to have the impact we'd like to have. On Robert Levinson, I have personally raised this in my meetings with Foreign Minister of Iran, Zarif, and we have raised it at the highest levels. It continues to be raised in all of our engagements. And we've met with family. We're doing everything possible. Again, there are 3 people being held, we believe, in Iran, and they're all 3 on the table. But we just have not had any positive return on that effort. The Swiss have been engaged with us. We've reached out to the Swiss. They're our representative with respect to that issue in Iran. And they also have not been able to get a positive response on it. So there are some serious questions surrounding that disappearance. I think you know that. It's not cut and dry, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it.